Good evening out there, my friends, people I don't know. You're still my friends. Um, we are here. Family read aloud. It is Thursday. Yes, Thursday, May 7th. Um, 6 o'clock now. We'll give people a minute to hop on. We are finishing our book today. Finishing our book, Finding Langston. So we're gonna see. We have 2 chapters left. We're gonna finish it out and then take a peek at our new read that we will start after. Hope everyone had a nice day. It was really nice out today, here at least. Right here. Um, so I did take a nice walk, but now I'm inside. um, okay, so we are going to finish our book. We've been reading Finding Langston by Lisa Klein Ransom, published by Holiday House. And we are, hi mom, we are going to finish it up. We are going to see when we left off. Langston had just finished talking with Miss Fulton, and talking. Miss Fulton was saying she had a new book of poetry to share with Langston. And hi, Jane. and Langston had discovered that some of the poetry his mother had written in letters to his daddy um, was that of Langston Hughes. But he thought the poetry was beautiful, and he's getting ready to head to school on chapter 19. Okay, here we go. Walking to school the next day, my satchel has the same amount of books but feels heavier than ever. I have been practicing what I'm going to say to Miss Cook, scratching out lines in my head that don't work. So far I got, "Afternoon, Miss Cook." When I got home, this weary blues book had some pages torn out. But that don't sound right. So I try, "Miss Cook, my daddy got mad when I wasn't doing my schoolwork and ripped up this book." But I don't want Daddy in trouble for something he didn't do. Daddy said a man's got to own up to his mistakes. So I'm going to tell Miss Cook just what happened with Lyman and hope she'll forgive me. My stomach is hurting something bad, but I got what I'm going to say inside my head. Since Mama passed, I ain't much for praying. God let me down once before, but I bow my head and say a little something to God now. All day at school, I keep going over my speech to Miss Cook. When the bell rings at the end of the day, I'm not the first one to the door, not even the second. First time I ever walked slow to the library. Ain't no need to rush something you don't want to do. Kicking leaves out of my way, I hear, "Watch where you're going," in front of me. With my head down, I nearly bump into Clem standing in the doorway of the library. I jump back. "Watch where you're standing," I say. "I've been waiting here for you," Clem says. "Why's that?" I ask. "Thought you might be wanting these." Clem waves a fistful of pages over his head like he's waving a flag. The pages from Weary Blues. I grab them fast. "These all of them?" I ask, flipping through. "Yep, every single one of them. Had to climb a fence to get the last one, but I got it." Clem looks real proud of himself. "If your friend Lyman hadn't—" "Lyman ain't my friend," Clem said. "Since when?" "He's been getting on my nerves anyhow, but when he went and ripped your book, I'm staying away is all." "Thanks for this," I say. "I was thinking Miss Cook's going to take back my library card." Clem laughs loud in my face. "Take back your library card? They don't do that. They mark the book damaged, maybe make you pay. Now that you got the pages, they can fix it." Clem can see I feel stupid thinking they take back the card. "I'll tell Miss Cook with you," he says. Miss Cook is downstairs at the desk, filing cards into a drawer. "Excuse me, Miss Cook," I start. She smiles. "Yes, Langston. Oh, and hello, Clem." She looks a little surprised. "I need to talk to you about this book." I hand her the Weary Blues. "Yes," she says, staring at the cover. "Well, I was in the schoolyard. Kid from school named Lyman ripped out some pages, but I got them all. Show her, Langston." When Clem said he would help me tell Miss Cook, I didn't think he would do all the telling. I show her the pages, and Miss Cook gets a frown on her forehead. "And these are all the pages here?" she asks me. Yes, ma'am. Langston, a library book is your responsibility, and you are. Clem cuts in. Wasn't his fault, Miss Cook, honest. Thank you, Clem, but as I was saying, Langston, when you borrow a book, it is your responsibility to make sure the book is returned in the same condition as when you borrowed it. This book will need to be repaired, but I think it can be done. Even though Clem told me how the library works, and Miss Cook said the book can be repaired, I still ask, so you're not going to take back my library card? She smiles then. Of course not, Langston. You are our number one patron. I sure don't know what patron means, but I like the way it sounds. Number one patron. And I can check out more books? Absolutely, she says, smiling again. Clem goes off to get a new one of those books he's reading. I head back to poetry to get another book, and he waits while I check it out. Upstairs and out on the sidewalk, Clem asks which way I'm walking. Over to Wabash, I say. I'll walk with you a ways, he says, not even asking if it's okay. We walk a block without saying anything at all. What is Weary Blues about? He says finally. Just a book I took out. But Lyman was reading those words. Hate, haste, loveliness. What kind of book is that? It's poetry, I say. Like Romeo and Juliet? Clem asks. I never read a poem called Romeo and Juliet. I shake my head no. Excuse me. What's poetry about? Clem asks. Poetry is about a lot of things, I guess. Like love and flowers. Clem laughs, elbowing me in my side. Sometimes, I guess, but I like the poems that talk about other stuff. What is it you like about him? Clem sounds serious, like he really wants to know. I like that it feels like someone is talking just to you, and that someone else knows what it feels like being you. I can't explain it, I say, feeling mad I can't say in words what I mean. But Clem says, You mean like the way you feel about Lyman? Kind of like that. But not just Lyman, the way I feel when I think about Alabama and my mama. Your mama? Where is your mama anyway? I saw your daddy when he came to school. My mama passed. I don't say no more. My daddy passed. Ain't like Clem to say so little, so I wait. That big explosion on the Navy ship in California? Port Chicago disaster, they called it. My daddy was on that. Been 3 years now. He stops again. This time he don't say no more. Sorry, Clem. That way you want to go in the Navy? To be like your daddy? I ask, scared he's going to be mad or worse, sad because I'm reminding him about his daddy. Yes, so, Clem says. He don't seem mad. Sorry about your mama. We stay quiet, crunching leaves as we walk. So the poetry you read is a way of putting all the things you feel inside on the outside. That's about it. Between all he knows about the library and getting my mixed up words, Clem is a lot smarter than I thought. I gotta go up this way, Clem says at the corner. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, Clem. He didn't laugh. Didn't make me feel like a fool. I walk on home thinking about poetry and Mama and Clem, my first friend in Chicago. Chapter 20. I'm feeling like this is about the best day I've had in a long while till I walk into the apartment. Miss Fulton is there at the table with Daddy, and when I walk in, they look funny, like I just caught them at something. Hello, Daddy. Hello, Miss Fulton. Son, Daddy says. Hello, Langston, Miss Fulton says. I brought you over that book we talked about. Got a feeling that ain't the reason she stopped by, but I keep quiet about that. She hands me a book of poems called Harlem Shadows. Thank you, Miss Fulton, I say, wondering what Daddy's going to say once Miss Fulton leaves. I better be going or I'll be up all night grading papers, she says to Daddy, smiling like Daddy is one of those actors in the picture shows. Daddy walks Miss Fulton, Pearl, to the door and sees her across the hall. I watch her, and realize Daddy is looking at Miss Fulton same way the men in the street look at her when they tip their hats. The door barely closes when I ask, Daddy, you in love with Miss Fulton? Daddy makes a sound, something between coughing and laughing. No, son. She's a nice woman who's been neighborly to us, is all. What's this book you got here? More poetry? Um, yes, sir. Miss Fulton said she thought I'd like it. We stand in the middle of the room looking at each other, man to man, me waiting, Daddy waiting. I don't know how Daddy feels about the library and me reading poetry and me being smart like Mama. Don't know if he thinks that's a good thing or bad. And since he ain't saying much, I'm going to guess it ain't good. I'm going to get started on some supper. Yes, sir. You made your apologies to that boy, Daddy asks. Sure did, and he didn't say nothing, just walked away. You just steer clear, you hear me? I don't want no more foolishness at that school. Yes, sir. We eat our supper quiet like always. I scrape the plates and wash up for bed. Daddy takes his towel to head to the bathroom. I lie on my bed staring up at the cracked ceiling, peeling all over. I close my eyes and see Mama, clear as day, smiling down on me. I open my eyes, open my book, and start reading. I would liken you to a night without stars were it not for your eyes. I would liken you to a sleep without dreams were it not for your songs. I hear Daddy at the door, stepping into the apartment. But for the first time, I don't put the book down or hide it under my covers. I keep reading. Langston, Daddy says, and I hold myself tight, waiting for what he'll say. Yes, sir. I keep my head in the book, making sure he sees me. Time to turn these lights out and go to sleep. Tomorrow's Saturday, and I don't want to hear any fuss in the morning about getting up, because you were up all night reading. Yes, sir. I can't help but smile. That's all he's going to say? Time the morning sun comes through the window. I can smell the oatmeal and toast Daddy's making. Come on, son, we gotta get a move on, Daddy yells from the stove. I shuffle, sleepy-headed, to the table. Toast ain't burned too bad this morning, so I start with that. Daddy sips his coffee, looking at me. Gotta make an extra stop today, so I need you to hurry it up this morning. Where are we going? Don't worry about that. Just need you to get moving so we're not out all day, Daddy says. Outside, the October sun is warm on my face and makes me miss the warmth of Alabama. Daddy is walking faster than he usually does, so I struggle to keep up behind him. He nods at nearly everyone he passes, and I do too. We make all of our stops, the bank, the landlord, the post office. I show Daddy the boots I saw in the window, and he says he needs a little more time to put some money together before I can get shoes. I hope my feet don't get frostbite in the snow while I'm waiting. That's how cold I hear Chicago gets in the winter. We get to the corner of State Street, where we usually turn to go to the fish market, but Daddy nods his head in the other direction. I get to thinking how much I didn't know about my daddy when we lived in Alabama. With Mama there, he barely spoke to me, and I didn't know what to say to him. But now, with just us two in Chicago, I know Daddy better than I ever hoped to. I know now he ain't in the mood for talking, so I walk right alongside him, wondering where we're heading. Trees pop up along the sidewalks, and the rundown apartments turn into houses, with nice cars parked in front and fresh painted trim around the windows. We get to the corner, and Daddy turns to me. Which way is the library? The library? I ask, not believing my ears. Want you to show me this library where you spending all your time. Now I recognize the neighborhood. Over that way, I point. We cross the street, and I can't help but realize that 2 blocks back, I thought I knew my daddy. Now I'm back to not knowing again. When we get to the big wooden door of the hall library, Daddy looks around like he ain't so sure anymore about seeing the library. Want to see inside? I ask him. I open the door, and Daddy walks in behind me. In the entry, the bright October sun shines bright, warming the whole room. Grandma was right. I can feel Mama looking down on me. Daddy'll probably never know that in the letters he hid was a secret she kept, that she named me for a poet whose words she loved and kept hidden in her heart, just waiting for a baby boy. Maybe she knew she wasn't long for this world, knew I'd need something to get me through. But whatever it was, Mama led me to this library, helped my hand reach out to a shelf holding a book with my name, and it saved me from the pain of losing her and from a city I hated. And Mama, all the way up in heaven, helped me along the way to finding home. That is the end of Finding Langston. I hope you liked it. I just think it's a beautiful book. So it was fun to share it with you. Okay, so I have picked out our next story. It's called Stella Diaz Has Something to Say by Angela Dominguez. Okay, that's what we are going to start with. I'll read you the book jacket. It's definitely lighter than what we just read, but I think you'll enjoy it, and it's just a different kind of book, and I think it'll be a fun one to read together. So this is the book. Okay, so I'm just gonna read the book jacket tonight. Tomorrow we'll start with chapter 1. I don't want to start the book right now. Someone wants to jump in on the new book tomorrow. Okay, it says Stella Diaz is not a betta fish. Betta fish like to be alone, and Stella loves spending time with her mom, her brother, and her best friend Jenny. Trouble is, Jenny is in another class this year and Stella feels very lonely. When a new kid joins her class, she wants to be his friend. But sometimes Stella accidentally speaks Spanish instead of English and pronounces words wrong, which makes her turn roja. She is even more nervous when she finds out she has to speak about her favorite subject, marine animals, in front of her whole class. But she better get over her fear soon because Stella Diaz has something to say. So that's what we will be reading starting tomorrow at 6 p.m. It's a different kind of book. Thanks for going on the ride of finding Langston with me. And I will be back tomorrow at 6. Um, and I hope you have a good night. And I will be back tomorrow if you'd like to join us for our next family read aloud book. Okay. Bye.